stream these 5 defenses in Week 15. Kicking it off is the Atlanta Falcons. The Dirty Birds go up against the Las Vegas Raiders offense that has given up 10.23 fantasy points per game to opposing defenses, the 4th most. And the Raiders may be without starting quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who suffered a knee bruise last game. And if that's the case, they'd be forced to start turnover-prone Desmond Ridder, which would be great news for Atlanta. Ridder started 13 games for Atlanta last year, but threw 12 interceptions, and he lost 7 of 12 fumbles. And that is a big reason why he's no longer a Falcon. Now, Atlanta has hit a bump in the road themselves, losing 4 straight, but a lot of that has to go on Kirk Cousins, who's suddenly become very turnover-prone. This defense has actually played a little bit better the last couple of weeks, racking up 9 sacks and getting 1 fumble recovery. And with their playoff hopes still very much alive, they should come out with some urgency and continue to rely on their defense from here on out. This is a prime bounce back spot, and as an added bonus, the Falcons play the Giants next week, giving them a little extra value. Number 2 on the list is the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals face off against the Patriots, whose offense is giving up 9 fantasy points per game to opposing defenses, the 5th most. And while Drake May has looked better with each passing week, he still has 6 interceptions and has lost 3 fumbles over his last 5 games. And prior to last week, the Cardinals defense was looking pretty good. From weeks 9 through 13, they averaged 10.5 fantasy points per game, the 3rd most. Arizona has now lost 3 straight and must essentially treat every game as a must-win from here on out, and I expect them to come out with some urgency and to get back on track this week. Number 3 on the list is the Washington Commanders. The Commanders face off against the New Orleans Saints team that will likely be without Derek Carr, who suffered a pretty severe fracture in his non-throwing hand along with a concussion, which means Jake Haener will likely get the start. And if that's the case, the Saints are likely to become pretty one-dimensional and rely on the run from here on out. The Saints have sorely lacked weapons since losing Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Taysom Hill to IR. And this is the kind of game that could get late early. And while Washington's defense hasn't been great by most measures this year, if they are able to build the lead early, their defense may be able to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. Number 4 on the list is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals go up against the Titans team, who may be without Will Levis. He re-injured the same shoulder that cost him 3 games earlier this season, and if he ends up missing, Mason Rudolph will get the start. And Rudolph hasn't been much better than Levis. The Titans were not able to take advantage of a struggling Jaguars defense last week, and while Cincinnati's defense has been lackluster most of this year, they've looked pretty good the last 2 weeks, racking up 5 sacks, 3 takeaways, 1 block kick, and a defensive score. They've averaged 8 points in each of those games, which is good for the 5th most during that stretch, and they still have Trey Hendrickson, who leads the league in sacks with 12.5. Number 5 on the list is the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have been playing some inspired ball over the past 3 weeks, pushing Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and Philly to the brink. And their defense is a big reason why. They've racked up 13 sacks and 2 takeaways during that stretch. And given that this has been against 3 pretty good offenses, I wouldn't be surprised to see them find more success against the lesser Dallas team that essentially has nothing to play for. Dallas's offense also just gave up 3 sacks, 1 interception, and lost a fumble against Cincinnati, which should bode well for Carolina. Those are 5 defenses to stream in Week 15. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know which defenses you think we should stream in the comments below.